Tonight, I'm not here to talk about success. I'm not here to talk about money, dreams, or the world outside these walls. I'm here to talk about something softer, something quieter, something that doesn't make noise, but changes everything. Family, there's a space in our home. You can't see it, but you can't feel it. It's in the empty room. It's in the silence after laughter fades. It's in the way we look at each other and smile, but still know something is missing. My family doesn't just want a child. We want tiny footsteps running across the floor. We want sleepless nights that are filled with purpose. Because love, real love, doesn't just stay between two people, it grows, it expands. It longs to become something greater than itself. And tonight, I want to speak about that longing, that quiet prayer in our hearts, that beautiful, fragile dream. A child to hold, a life to protect, a new chapter written not in ink, but in love. There is something sacred about a home at night. When the world quiets down and the noise fades, you can hear the truth inside your own heart. You can hear what you don't say during the day. You can feel what is missing. I look around at my family and I see love, real love, the kind that survives storms, the kind that forgives quickly, the kind that chooses each other again and again. We have built something strong, we have built something warm. But even in that warmth, there is a gentle space, a space waiting to be filled. My family needs a child, not because we are incomplete in love, but because our love wants somewhere new to go. Love is not meant to stay still. It moves, it grows, it reaches beyond two hearts and asks for more. It asks for a new life to protect, you music, a new soul to guide, a new pair of eyes to look back at us and remind us who we are. I imagine tiny footsteps echoing down the hallway. I imagine laughter that interrupts our serious conversations. I imagine toys on the floor and sleepless nights and mornings that begin too early. And somehow, even the exhaustion feels beautiful because it would mean that love has taken form. It would mean that the dream we carry quietly has become real. When I think about a child in our home, I don't think about a child in our home. I don't think about perfection. I think about fingerprints on the walls. I think about tears and scraped knees. I think about tears and scraped knees. I think about holding a small body close and whispering, I'm here. I've got you. I think about becoming stronger, not for myself, but for someone who depends on me completely. There is a different kind of courage that comes with wanting a child. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's not r- dramatic. It's quiet and steady. It's the courage to open your heart wider than you ever thought possible. The courage to accept responsibility not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. The courage to love someone so deeply that their pain would hurt more than your own. My family needs that kind of love. We are ready to give it. We are ready to wake up in the middle of the night and walk the floor. We are ready to learn patience in ways we never have before. We are ready to learn patience in ways we never have before. We are ready to put someone else's needs before our comfort. It transforms you. It softens you. It teaches you how to serve without keeping score. I picture a small hand wrapping around my finger. I picture a small hand wrapping around my finger. I picture eyes that look at me as if I am the whole world. And in that gaze, I know I would find purpose. Not the kind of purpose that comes from applause or achievement, but the kind that comes from being needed, from being trusted, from being someone's safe place. There are days when I sit quietly and imagine teaching a child how to walk, how to speak, how to believe in themselves. I imagine being there for the first day of school, the first heartbreak, the first big dream. I imagine standing behind them, not pushing, not controlling, but supporting, always supporting. A child would change our hearts. The way we argue would change, the way we forgive would change, the way we forgive would change, the way we think about the future would change. Because suddenly the future wouldn't just be about us, it would be about them, about what kind of world we are leaving behind. Sometimes people think wanting a child is just about tradition or expectation. But for us, it is about connection. It is about hearing the word home and knowing it means more than walls and furniture. It means stories told at bedtime. It means birthday candles and scraped knees and quiet talks after nightmares. My family needs a child because we have love stored up inside us, and it needs a tiny heartbeat to match its rhythm. It needs a small voice calling out in the dark. It needs arms that reach up without fear, knowing they will be caught. I know it would not be easy. I know it would not be easy. I know there would be fear. Fear of not being enough. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of the world being too harsh. But love does not wait for certainty. Love steps forward even when it trembles. Love says, I may not know everything, but I will be here. I will stay. Where holidays feel louder and brighter. Where silence is replaced by questions that never seem to end. And in those endless questions, we would find growth, we would find laughter, we would find ourselves becoming better than we were before. My family needs a child because love, when it is true, wants to multiply. It wants to see itself reflected in new eyes. It wants to hear its own kindness echoed back in a small, innocent voice. It wants to build a legacy not of wealth, but of warmth. I dream of teaching a child about compassion, about standing up for others, about choosing kindness even when it is hard. I dream of being the example they look to when they are unsure, of showing them that strength can be gentle, that courage can be quiet, that love is not weakness. And maybe, more than anything, I dream of the way a child would teach us patience, music, teach us humility, teach us to slow down and notice the small things again, the way rain sounds on the window, the way a story can make you believe in magic, the way a story can make you believe in magic, the way a hug can fire. X a broken moment. A child would not just need us, we would need them. We would need their innocence to remind us of who we were before the world hardened us. We would need their laughter to break through our stress. We would need their trust to challenge us to be worthy of it. My family needs a child because love is ready. Ready to wake up earlier, ready to sleep less, ready to worry more, ready to care more deeply than ever before, ready to sacrifice comfort for meaning, ready to hold something fragile and promise to protect it with everything we have. There is a quiet prayer in my heart when I think about it, a simple wish, not for perfection, not for ease, but for the chance, music, the chance to love in a way that stretches us beyond ourselves, the chance to look into small eyes and see hope staring back. I imagine the first cry filling the room, the first time holding that tiny life against my chest, the realization that nothing will ever be the same again. And instead of fear, I feel gratitude, gratitude for the opportunity to give more than I ever thought I could. My family needs a child because we are ready to build something that outlives us, something that carries our values forward, something that turns our private love into a living, breathing story, a story that begins with a heartbeat and that continues with every step, every word, every dream that child will one day chase. A child is not just a wish, a child is a heartbeat that changes the rhythm of an entire home. When I think about it, I don't see just a baby wrapped in blankets. I see the way the air would feel different. I see the way silence would no longer be empty, but full of possibility. I see how every corner of our house would begin to breathe with new meaning. My family needs a child because there is a tenderness inside us that has not yet been fully expressed. We love each other deeply, but love is alive. It does not sit still. It looks for new ways to grow. It looks for new arms to hold, new tears to wipe away, new laughter to protect. It looks for a small soul to guide through the world. I imagine waking up in the middle of the night to the sound of a cry, not annoyed, not frustrated, but aware that someone needs me more than sleep. The child would teach us that love is not convenient. It is not scheduled. It arrives at 3 a.m. and asks you to stand up, even when you are tired. And you do it not because you have to, but because you want to. There is something powerful about being needed in that way, about knowing that your presence alone can calm a storm in someone's tiny heart. I picture holding a baby close, feeling their breath against my chest, whispering soft words into the dark. In those quiet moments, the world outside would not matter. There would only be love and responsibility woven together. My family needs a child because we are ready to grow beyond ourselves. We are ready to stop thinking only about our comfort and start thinking about a future shaped by our guidance. A child changes the way you see time. Suddenly, you are not just living day to day, you are building memories. You are creating foundations. You are shaping a human being who will one day walk on their own. I think about the first smile, the first time tiny eyes recognize you, the first laugh that fills the room like sunlight breaking through clouds. Those small milestones would not be small to us, they would be everything. They would remind us that life is not measured in achievements, but in moments of connection. A child would bring vulnerability into our home, and vulnerability is not weakness, it is honesty. It is the courage to admit that we do not control everything, that we cannot protect from every pain, but we can promise to stand beside them through it all. We can promise to listen, to guide, to love without conditions. Sometimes I sit quietly and imagine teaching a child how to tie their shoes, how to ride a bike, how to say sorry when they make a mistake. And in those lessons, I know I would also be teaching myself patience. I would be reminded that growth takes time, that falling is part of learning, that encouragement matters more than criticism. My family needs a child because our love wants to echo. It wants to be heard in another voice. It wants to be heard in another voice. It wants to be seen in another smile, not as a copy, but as a continuation, a living extension of the values we hold close: kindness, respect, compassions. I imagine sitting at the dinner table with one more chair pulled out, listening to stories about school, about new friends, about small victories and big disappointments. I imagine kneeling down to eye level and saying, "Tell me what happened," and meaning it. Really listening, because a child deserves to feel heard from the very beginning. There will be hard days, days of worry, days of doubt, moments when we question if we are doing enough, if we are saying the right things, if we are guiding in the right direction. But love does not require perfection. It requires presence. It requires presence. It requires showing up again and again, even when you are unsure. A child would give our family a new kind of courage, the courage to be better than we were yesterday, the courage to apologize when we are wrong, the courage to lead by example instead of by command. Because children do not just hear what you say, they watch what you do. I think about bedtime stories, about sitting on the edge of a small bed, reading slowly, feeling a tiny headrest against my shoulder, about turning off the light and staying just a little longer because they ask you to, because they feel safe when you are there. Those simple moments would become treasures. My family needs a child because we are ready to experience love in its most selfless form. The kind of love that gives without expecting anything back. The kind of love that gives without expecting anything back. The kind of love that celebrates someone else's achievements as if they were your own. The kind of love that worries constantly but continues to hope. I imagine first steps across the living room floor, arms stretched out for balance, the fear of falling, the determination to try again, and I see myself clapping, encouraging, believing. Because that is what a parent does. They believe in you before you believe in yourself. A child would bring questions into our lives, endless questions. Why is the sky blue? Why do people cry? Why do we have to say goodbye? And in answering those questions, we would be reminded of the beauty of curiosity, of seeing the world through fresh eyes, of seeing the world through fresh eyes, of not taking simple things for granted. My family needs a child because we are ready to build traditions. Birthday mornings filled with excitement, holiday nights glowing with warmth, simple rituals that become memories. A child would not just live in our house, they would shape it. They would turn it into a place of stories and laughter. There is also fear in this dream, fear of the world being too harsh, fear of not being able to shield them from every disappointment. But love does not promise to remove pain. It promises to stand beside you in it, to hold your hand through it, to remind you that you are not alone. I imagine the first day of school, watching them walk away, backpack slightly too big, turning back one last time to see if we are still there, and we would be smiling, encouraging, even if our hearts feel tight, because part of loving a child is learning to let them grow. My family needs a child is learning to let them grow. My family needs a child because we want to witness that growth, to see a tiny human slowly discover their strengths, their passions, their unique way of seeing the world, to support them, not in becoming who we want them to be, but in becoming who they are meant to be. I think about teenage years, about difficult conversations, about guiding without controlling, listening without judging, listening without judging, standing firm when necessary, but always with love. A child would challenge us, push us, force us to confront our own flaws, and through that we would grow. A child is not just joy, it is responsibility. It is sacrifice. It is choosing someone else's well being every single day. And yet, in that sacrifice, there is fulfillment, a deep, steady sense of purpose that cannot be replaced by anything else. My family needs a child because our hearts are ready to stretch, ready to hold more than we ever have before, ready to wake up each morning knowing that our actions matter beyond ourselves, that every word we speak is shaping a future. I imagine quiet afternoons spent drawing at the kitchen table, crayons scattered everywhere, small hands proudly showing a simple picture as if it were a masterpiece. And in that pride, I would see confidence growing. I would see trust forming. I would see love taking root. A child would give us the chance to rewrite parts of ourselves, to be more patient than we were taught, more understanding, more open, to create a home where emotions are not dismissed but embraced, where mistakes are not punished with shame but corrected with guidance. My family needs a child because we believe in nurturing something beautiful, in planting seeds of kindness that will one day spread into the world, in planting seeds of kindness that will one day spread into the world, and raising someone who carries empathy into every room they enter. Existing in the dark, discussing fears, dreams, heartbreaks, being the safe place they return to when life feels overwhelming, knowing that no matter how old they get, our arms are still open. A child would teach us humility, because no matter how prepared you think you are, you realize quickly that you are learning how to soothe, how to discipline with love, how to balance guidance and freedom. My family needs a child because we are ready for that journey, ready for the laughter that echoes down hallways, ready for the laughter that echoes down hallways, ready for the tears that test our patience, ready for the pride that swells in our chest when we see them succeed. I imagine graduation days, milestones, moments where we stand in the background, watching them step forward into their own lives, feeling both joy and nostalgia, knowing that the tiny baby we once held has become strong and independent. A child is not just a chapter, Isaac. It is an entire story unfolding in front of you. A story you get to influence but never fully control. And that is the beauty of it. Love without control. Guidance without ownership. My family needs a child because we want to experience that depth, that overwhelming, sometimes terrifying, always beautiful depth of unconditional love. The kind that forgives quickly, the kind that protects fiercely, the kind that never gives up. I picture holding a newborn for the first time. Yeah. Feeling how small and fragile they are, realizing in that instant that my heart is no longer just mine. It beats outside my body now, it exists in this tiny life, and from that moment on, everything changes. Priorities shift, fears change, dreams expand. The future becomes brighter and more serious at the same time, because you are no longer living only for yourself, you are living to build a world where your child can thrive. My family needs a child because we have love that is patient. Music. Love that is strong, love that is ready to wake up before dawn and stay up past midnight. Love that is willing to sacrifice comfort for connection. And when I think about it deeply, I realize that a child would not just complete our family. A child would reveal it, reveal the strength we didn't know we had, the gentleness we didn't know we had, the gentleness we didn't know we show, the resilience that only true responsibility can uncover. A child is the heartbeat that completes a family, not because without one there is emptiness, but because with one love finds a new rhythm, a rhythm of lullabies and laughter, of lessons and growth, of holding on and letting go.